From Soccer City in Johannesburg, this is the Real Economy Report. Our top stories this week. South Africa is declared ready to host the Soccer World Cup. 230 Mercedes-Benz buses have been received for the 2010 FIFA World Cup. And Phase 1 of the Gautrain rapid rail link will be ready by June. FIFA Secretary-General Jerome Valk says South Africa is 80% ready to host the 2010 FIFA World Cup. Dennis Ndaba compiled this report.
After a 5-day tour involving 7 flights and 26 buses to 9 host cities in 7 provinces with 114 fellow members of the media, Engineering News can attest that South Africa is ready to host the 2010 World Cup. The tour started with a visit to Johannesburg's 2 stadiums, Soccer City and Ellis Park, and ended at the Moses Mabhida Stadium in Durban. The iconic calabash-designed 1.56 billion Soccer City Stadium is said to be the official host venue for the 2010 FIFA World Cup opening ceremony and also the venue for the World Cup finals. The stadium is complete, but paving and landscaping need to be completed before the kickoff on June 11. It's a case of third time lucky for the 1.2 billion Bombela Stadium in Mpumalanga in terms of pitch laying, as the new lush and green pitch laid a week ago using only ryegrass is germinating well, to the relief and delight of the city's World Cup organizers, having twice needed to dig up inadequate pitch because it contained 25% topsoil. After a process of public consultation, the 4.4 billion Greenpoint Stadium has been named Cape Town Stadium. The name is inclusive, meaning it's a stadium for all Cape Town's residents and visitors, and it builds on Cape Town's established international reputation.
The Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa and Autopax have received half of the 460 buses from Mercedes-Benz South Africa for use during the 2010 FIFA World Cup. Irma Fenter was there.
The buses will be used exclusively by World Cup ticketing and accommodation specialist Match and the local organising committee for the duration of the global sports event. The buses, including 44 from another manufacturer, were financed through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services in a 6-year deal with 1.2 billion rand. The bus chassis were assembled at Mercedes-Benz East London bus plant, with most of the bus bodies built locally by Marco Polo. Of the 460 buses, 292 are semi-luxury coaches and 168 luxury coaches. But what happens to these buses after the World Cup? Autopax CEO Saki Samtraka explains.
And I think today we can say that the future of public transport in this country is not going to be the same. The future of long-distance travel, not only in the country but in the southern region, is not going to be the same, because as part of our intentions is to do cross-border on top of the long-distance intercity operations we do within the country. And the last part of it is going to be to support rail. As part of the PASA group, it is our responsibility to ensure that passengers in this country can now have a complete journey, that you can decide you want to leave from Pretoria to somewhere in KZN, and you will take a bus and a train to complete your journey.
Local content on the semi-luxury coaches is 47%. In the case of the luxury buses, the local content is 24%. The remaining 230 buses are to be delivered by May.
Construction of Phase 1 of the Gautrain will be ready for the 2010 FIFA World Cup. Irma Fenter hitched a ride on the train and spoke to project leader Jack van der Merwe.
The Gautrain should carry airport passengers to their Sandton hotels and back by June 8, just ahead of the June 11 kickoff. Ticket prices are estimated to be roughly 100 Rand to 120 Rand one way. Phase 2 of the system will be more commuter-orientated and will run between Tshwane and Johannesburg and will only be ready in 2011. Van der Merwe explains the difference between the 2 links.
We have different types of rolling stock. The airport line has got wider seats, it's got place for your luggage, so it's more adapt for long distance passengers with baggage. On the Pretoria Johannesburg side is a commuter line that has a maximum amount of seats in it. We are looking for 80% seated and 20% standing.
The airport link is certainly that little bit more spacious than the commuter link train. The top speed of the air-conditioned train is 160 kilometers an hour, which it reaches with ease as it speeds along the track between the 45-meter, 18-story deep Sandton station and the elevated OR Tambo International Airport station. Passengers will not be able to eat or drink on the train. They will use preloaded contactless smart cards to pay for their train journey, for using the bus, as well as to park at the stations. The more services they use, the less they pay. 40 buses following dedicated routes will also be used to ferry passengers to the stations and back. These services will all be ready for the World Cup. The journey from Sandton Station to OR Tambo takes an effortless 14 minutes, much less than it would to guide a car through the notorious traffic jams around the airport.
And now for a sneak preview of this week's Engineering News magazine. In our cover story, we take a trip on the Gautrain with the man who drove the 25.4 billion rand project. We report that soaring European demand for the new Polo is to benefit Volkswagen of South Africa's Uitenhage plant. And Airbus Military is in talks with the South African government regarding the cancellation of its order for 8 A400M airlift aircraft. And in Mining Weekly this week, in this week's cover story, we report that government has drawn the line on illegal mining. We report that Project House TWP is building a gold plant in Zimbabwe on a build, own and operate basis with African Consolidated Resources. And the High Court of South Africa grants a 28-day extension to the judicial management order issued for DRD Gold's Blyvooruitzicht mine. That's Creamer Media's Real Economy Report. Join us again next week for more news and insight into South Africa's real economy.